Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BARCast TV and to another episode of BARCast Daily. It is August 26, 2023, and this is our third Saturday show, so of course we have LSR on the channel joining us once again.
Hello, BARCast. Happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Really looking forward to it. We decided to feature something different this week. We're going to be covering some 2v2 and 3v3s from a high level perspective, I suppose, and just trying to showcase the game, promote those formats. So without further ado, we can unpause the game.
Right, so this was the tournament match from the latest 3v3, coming in by the TZN and I think I forgot the name already, but that was briefly put up game team up by the Stardom's Law and Mighty Sheep.
Yeah, pretty formidable team on paper for sure. Zlow's way up there. Mighty Sheep, of course, won the previous Alpha Cup, so really high level teams on both sides.
Yeah, and don't forget the Stardom. He's really, really strong as well.
Shout out Stardom. Good luck in the upcoming tournaments. And perhaps before we get too far into this, just a shout out or announcement. Perhaps we have one ongoing 1v1 tournament at Spring TV, so be sure to check that out. And then in September, of course, if you're looking for some kind of competitive thing, we're going to be running another tournament there. And those qualifiers have been posted, and I'll post a link in the Discord, or excuse me, a link in the description of how to find that Discord and get signed up if you're interested. So be sure to participate.
Yeah, right, so about the map, most players are choosing to get the wind. I'm not that big of a fan of a wind, but it seems that it's working out for them on this particular map. Teddy already has a pre-sent initiation because he made solar and is able to at least get some ticks, and so is Sabotai. No, he gave 2 ticks to the Sabotai. Sabotai is actually going vehicles, so you can see the level is quite high because one player makes units and shares them to the allies because he thinks that the allies have free APM, so everybody's doing the initial scout attacks right now.
Yeah, that seems to be a phase in every kind of team game. You have this early harassment stage before players can get enough units out, enough LLTs to really stop everything.
Well, only Mighty Sheep has chosen to make an LLT covering his backline mixes. It's a little bit of greedy play, but I sure like that style. You don't just have to worry, and his wind is safe, and he's actually facing most of the attacking scout units from this side. And almost defense, but there's still some ticks over there. Should eventually get cleaned up.
Really strong play. I want to say Mighty Sheep actually went for like a 4-mech start. That's why he has that LLT back there. If I remember correctly, he played like super greedy over in that position. And trying to remember back, I was really interested to see like Teddy versus Mighty Sheep in this little bottom mexes. Was this 10 or 12 mexes sitting right here for the players to contest over, and it's a really wide open space, so it's not quite like a choke point you typically fight over in these team game lanes.
Oh, for sure. Teddy taking it slow, but his commander's already out on the field. No defenses, no nothing. He will continue to pump like initial pawns, and he's playing against Armada vehicles, which are, in the team games at least lately, known to be like really dominating against the bots. But,
yeah, absolutely. Sheep has a little more build power on the factory here. What is the build power of one of the... I know it's different between the construction vehicles and bots.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I think it's for the 10. Armada vehicles is actually also great from getting the mexes. That's why Teddy is out there fast so early. In fact, it was Teddy who stated like the speed on Armada constructor like beats bots like really, really much if you want to get somewhere and expand. More applicable to 1v1, but I just thought it could mention it.
Sorry, you're saying the construction vehicle he was mentioning was better for expanding?
Oh, yeah. If you do advanced unit stats, the advanced construction vehicle moves at like 54 speed, and I think the bot is less than that. It's like 36 speed versus 54, right? So you get to places a lot more faster. See some development on the north by Claret. Completely controlling the metal, engaging the metal, and trying to also move some scouts and some tanks to the north to see what Zlo is holding up there.
It's
Claire's
really,
been slowly expanding on this side. Zlo's already finished his mixes on the top and making more windmills.
this was a really fun tournament to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't had a chance to see too many 3v3 games, and it was so cool to see. I mean, there was a couple really strong, highly rated teams in this tournament. I mean, so
Oh, for sure, yeah.
it was really cool to see all the players going at it.
For sure. Teddy controlling well with the plasma bots going ahead, but you know he's really has been gathering like a lot of metal, and he actually has reclaimed his own base lab, right? So that's where his metal is. But he doesn't have a lab at all. What is he keeping his metal up for?
Yeah, he's
just making
floating metal.
windmills.
Yeah, yeah. He could have had a
so-
factory or just give that metal to his teammates. I think he finally cues one up right in front of his opponent.
Yeah, and he's actually going for the he changed the dragon teeth into vehicles, so he likes front attack, and so far it looks like it's working out for him. He's still managing to defend against the bots, but Sheep's blitzes are around there. But
Sneaking through.
yeah,
One blitz finding its way, slipping through the lines.
yeah, I think Teddy might be metagaming. I don't know if it will turn good or bad for him. He's metagaming in the terms that like Teddy thinks the sheep will play passive and will try to log down this sector, so he just wants the lab on the front, and yeah, interesting how that works out.
It's a huge run by here from Claret, getting these blitzes, really distracting Sheep, pulling them back, and that bought Teddy enough time to get up a Dragon's Claw and this land factory. Vehicle
Yeah,
plant.
now he's just gonna make more construction turrets, and with that construction turret, he'll be able to produce units out really good. I think the
Janus is the first unit we see.
and Janus is good, yeah, even like medium tanks, and given the distraction, Mighty Sheep haven't built up any like more defenses, so there's no even need for like artillery or prolonged. And Januses will be pretty good against pushing that calm away there and winning the place.
Yeah, they're so strong against commanders. A lot easier to micro, I've found, than the medium tank. Like, I know you can fight and shoo away commanders with the medium tank, but the DPS threat of the Janus really kind of makes you think twice. But ooh,
Yeah.
one shot. I mean, see, he's already at 50%. Ate a couple of shots here. Mighty Sheep's commanders below 50% HP.
Getting him also some missile trucks as well for that vision, and you know, for that siege down that one annoying LLT.
Missile trucks outrange LLTs. I mean, it seems like, am I mistaken
Yeah,
there?
so
or-
it's a good. No, yeah, as I mean, like getting a Samsung, like Janus doesn't outrange, but you know, missile truck will slowly
Right.
chip it down, as well as provide vision for that like north thing. There is some units coming from the north. Zlo has responded all the way coming from the north.
And this is gonna totally run past Teddy's front line
Yeah,
here.
Teddy doesn't have the base, and Zlo has made a smart choice of just making mines at the north, allowing Clara to take and choose to make these units to go to the Teddy's base, because that's team strategy, right? Defend your place and just try to get them from behind. So
This is
he
perhaps
might
the
be a little
coordination.
bit of trouble, and Sheep, even though he loses his commander, Sheep might still control his wreck, right? He just needs to make units and get to them, and his wreck is his. And I don't think that he will be able to make any progress with losing his energy, right?
Yeah, that's a huge bane, especially in a map
Yeah.
like this. Has no build power in the main base really to kind of get those back up, so he's going to force to make some windmills here on the front line.
Yeah, and more windmills means less army to push the Sheep, so Sheep will be able to stabilize, and also Sheep has these island mixes, so there's yeah, it's still up, even though like he did really good in pushing the Sheep out and even killing his commander.
really smart play there, getting that amphibious construction vehicle, capping those mexes in the bottom right, and getting some titles.
And Stardom's theirs as well. At least Stardom is now facing the brunt of their forces, which is really good because if you look at Sabotai's position, Sabotai hasn't been able to get anywhere. Like, he's only on his starting mixes, and that's about it.
Yeah, Stardom has so much metal here in the middle. I mean, he's capped both of these plateaus and has controlled this kind of middle choke point here.
And yeah, just playing pure thug is really, really good.
Pure thug.
Apparently, as long as you don't lose your res bots and are able to, reclaim, repair, and then do those little things, the thugs are still pretty strong, even going in.
Thugs are strong. They're really microable, and they have strong range, too. I mean, not to mention they're a little tanky. DPS isn't that bad, so...
Yeah, tries to get his res bots in. Should be a little bit careful right there, but I know Stardom. Stardom will be, immediately retreats them.
So key to kind of keep those alive, have them hotkeyed.
Yeah, Clyrod's not making much progress. Zlo is still got him in a pincer movement. Clyrod definitely overbuilding some LLTs versus mines, since the mines do not attack those LLTs at the north, proving to be not that useful.
Kind of locking down the alley. I'm sure Clyrod feels comfortable sending his units down south, though. So even though he can't attack into Zlo necessarily, he has to defend his teammates. So it's not really a...
Stardom looks really, really low. You don't have health bars on your stuff, but if you...
Let me turn those on, actually. Sorry, were those interface?
Interface. You could type health at the bottom.
Health bar scale?
I don't know if it's scale. Oh, yeah, the scale, yeah.
Just the damage units come on, so if you don't see the health bar, they have full health. I think that's how it's set up.
Yeah, and still with the thugs and a little bit of help of slow tanks, he's able to establish like a really good what it's called like salient, like a fighting position where you can choose, and it's really close to the both Teddy's and Sabotai's bases.
Yeah, you kind of can slip through and pour units towards these, really vulnerable positions.
Teddy doing like a small counterattack onto Sheep's base, but I think that's already been dealt with. The last mains.
Yeah, we can see that on the mini-map. Not too much going on in Red's main base here. And whose commander was that? Was that
Sabotai.
Sabotai's commander?
One who was low.
There's so many thugs just ripping through this main base right now.
Yeah. Oh, and we missed the main attraction of this game, I remember. Zlo managed to mine jump onto the hill. As you can see, his con is there. Sorry, Zlo. We didn't notice that.
Yeah, once again, failing to highlight the master micro tricks.
And there goes like Teddy's bases, and that should be it. Although no, Teddy like has north base, but it will be really difficult to recover and sabotage.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like has any army to stop the onslaught of this Stardom, who's just keeping on resurrecting everything and making thugs.
Yeah, making bots look good here. I love to see it. Just continuing to make thugs. They kind of waddle across the map.
Zlo is unable to deal with the static walls there. Has to drive all the way around. Due to pathfinding, I think he noticed that there was wall, but...
Guess that's GG. I mean, the game technically isn't over quite yet. Sabotai calling GG.
Yeah, Sabotai has no base, and with that, the rank tag team of Mighty Sheep, Stardom, and Zlo will win against the TZN.
Who ended up going to the finals, so despite losing this one game, they managed to make it to the finals, but just wanted to highlight this really high-level 3v3 game, and just the different maps and the variants of play you see, somewhere in between 1v1s and 8v8s. Or all these like great, formats, 2v2s, 3v3s.
Yeah, I think this map is even more fun maybe 4v4, since one guy can start on a hill or start on the front on one mix, and there's a little bit of variety, and you can play this game up to 5v5 as well. Pretty good game if you get like air start. You could like take those mixes and fly the commanders up. Sometimes you can
air start would
even
be...
early making fighters, but air start is doable here, especially maybe in the lower rated lobby for sure. I hope everything gets punished for this, and the mexes are there to capture.
Wonder if there's any kind of sneaky strats where
GG.
you know you have two commanders spawn next to each other and assist one factory out immediately. That's something you don't see quite often, but it's, I mean, definitely part of the
Yeah,
game.
yeah, you could do this on Great Divides and whatnot. Usually getting the two mexes first is like really important, and there's not that many places where you can like, there's both mexes and the energy, so the commanders could cooperate on a lab. It's been tested with like a T1 lab as well, when one guy builds like, I think lab build speed is important, and commander walking is not that great.
Interesting. So moving on to a 2v2 match on Theta Crystals. Once again, yeah, we have another high-level match to feature here. What do you think about this format, LSR? How does it differ from some of the other team games?
2v2 and 3v3. I mean, it depends how like generally sweaty you have to be. That's the first. 2v2 feels like you need to have like big of an impact, and 2v2 is always like it's hard. Like if your like ally gets smashed 2v1 or you get smashed 2v1, especially on like the round maps, it's like the same defense and move on. I think more the bigger the player count, the slower the game like develops, unless like all 8 players are cohesive. So 2v2 from my perspective, like 1v1 you have control in everything you do, then you control the outcome, right? And 2v2s you need some cohesiveness as well to be like really really good. So it's a big impact game and pretty stressful on the players as well.
Absolutely. Like you said, if you get boxed into that 2v1 position, it's really kind of your game to lose at that point. You never want to be the weakest link in that case, or just feel like you lost the game.
It's a pressure, right? Yeah. Because if you play 1v1, it's like it's only my score, but like if your teammate depends on you and you're not performing, it can be quite stressful. But yeah, all of these players are happy to play the games, and Stardom and Pitaka really vibe well together. And I think Vodka is low. Vodka is really old school player.
He comes from another game, if I'm
BA,
sure.
no,
Okay.
he's BA. He's top 3 BA, I think.
All right, yeah.
When it died, so he's played a lot of games. I don't know full history, but yeah.
We get to see even the pregame chat going on between these players. So I really like these teams. Yeah, Zlo, they're both Russian, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we see their country flags.
I don't think they have played much together, right? So this law comes from FF and Vodka has been like, he played in 2021. He plays like every year for a couple of months at least. When I saw him, I'm usually happy when he's back, and he's back and playing, right?
I've seen him around, yeah, for sure. So hopefully, we've attracted a lot of bar and FAF players recently here in the past month. So or higher level ones. It's pretty cool to see. I mean, there's a reason to be playing bar right now.
Sure. I think this map plays better 2v2, although you have these two distinctive lines. In 1v1, it's sometimes like you have managed like 2 kind of sectors, right? Because there's like a water in the middle, right? So and they're really, really like big for like 1v1. So if you win decisively one, you might see army, so much army the opponent doesn't see. It's coming on the radar, and by the time he sees it, it's already too late. But with 2 players controlling each of the lanes, it's like they
seems a little more balanced, maybe.
Yeah. It will be harder to sneak in. Right. So the labs, Flo going for the bots, and oh, sorry, I might have been a little bit of higher speed.
They are currently at 49 seconds.
Yeah. So.
No, nothing wrong with that. Not too far into the game. I'm gonna checking on these commanders. You got Cortex, Armada for our blue team, and then Cortex Armada for our red team. Yeah, pretty balanced in that regard. I think Janus is just too good not to have as a possible tech choice or unit choice. Good to see both players have that.
I think here on Theta they won't be less important. They're still pretty kind of slow in the terms of. I think the blitz is good, right? But and Janus is a good component, but
Yeah,
you know,
it's
Resbots are really good here because of the reclaim early. The win map is not great. You can see players
yeah.
struggling right now as well completely, and nobody has made much of the solars.
I was just
The
about
mixes
to
are
mention
far
that.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Both players having to add on solars. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think it's solar map. Of course, you should be mixed, and like if you got windmills, they will pay back. But
wind risk is 10%, so much higher than other maps. So you have to. Uh, maybe Zlo and Vodka know something we don't because they're just making only solars. Um,
yeah. But I also went for solars more as a backup when we played the 4v4s for the team because
mm.
you need to spend that metal and into energy. Enemy is also quite far, so. Alright, the first attack's coming in.
Couple of vulnerable windmills. That was interesting. Where did PTAC spawn with his commander to have those windmills positioned there? That's kind of
I
fascinating.
think he's yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think you need to walk a little bit to get that position.
Ooh, Resbot goes down. That's always hate to see that.
Yeah, sniping res about a big deal.
And they are not cheap. Like 110 metal.
Right. A lot of scouts from PTAC.
Yeah, I like to see that. They're so fast on this map, and your opponent is so far away, as you mentioned. And
Yeah, if you look at like Zlow's like North Constructor, right, those mixes would be dead. And it takes like a long time for the bot count to again walk. Walk to build all those mixes. It's extremely slow at 34. And you know, if you lose the
takes an
mixes.
eternity to walk that way, walk that
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah, the pro play is also to destroy the wreck, right, with these scouts, so this load doesn't get the chance to resurrect it, right?
You don't
Because
see
Resurrector.
too many players doing that, but that is a huge
That's
thing.
a
You
huge
can.
tip, yeah.
Um,
Well, for constructor wrecks, I try to remember to snipe them. I think it's usually I don't destroy wrecks, but constructor wreck, especially bot one, like makes a lot
yeah,
of sense.
I mean, you could make the same argument for like a Resbot wreck in the early game as well.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah. Ooh, goes with the self D. Probably missed that a little bit,
yeah,
but
clutch that. Yeah.
But Zlov playing again and trying to self D his mixes to get all the scouts at the same time.
I suppose there's no reason not to. I mean, if you're gonna lose the mechs anyways, you might as well try and micro it. And
Well, you can resurrect the mix as well, right?
that is true.
Otherwise, and also you get like there's some like when you build over the mix, right? There's already some metal wreck
Yeah,
usually,
it's
and the
already.
scouts rarely kill like completely destroyed wreck, right? So if you get like I don't know, like 40% metal back, it's
Yeah, it's a
worth it
difference
either
for
way.
sure. It's something I try and remember in my own games is just placing the mechs on top of the wreck, so your constructor automatically reclaims it just as you rebuild it. Get the classic grunts versus grunt matchup here. Zlo doing a really good job of shooing away his opponent or just staying in front of him.
Yeah, for sure.
Sees-
Still eating all that energy.
How much
It's usually
excess do we
funny.
have here? I mean,
Not by a lot. I mean, Stardom has some excess. Nobody has energy converters. As I said, like even in these matches, I would suggest getting one or two.
is that a reclaim?
Maybe.
Sorry, did those grave robbers reclaim that that blitz? That was insane, huh?
Yeah, it's citizens arrest sometimes.
Citizens
It
arrest,
happens.
yeah.
What kind of little bit of a weird position for a player? Tries to establish his position, denies his mexes, and might deny the radar and the mex itself. Pitak also, though, gets almost free counterattack. Let's see how
Right.
Vodka manages to respond to that. tank out seems even, and Vodka going in to also harass at the same point, cutting off the reinforcements, so that's all that Pitak has, to be fair. Unless he reinforces.
He's got a decent amount of build power at home. Just spitting out a lot of blitzes, a lot of rovers queued up in that factory.
Yeah, Pitak going around of everything gonna hit, even Law's base. This is pretty worth if he could get the... Yeah, we'll get eaten by the defending construction turrets.
Yeah, so you have to be really on top of that because they have a lot of, I don't know, DPS as reclaiming your opponent's units. So
large open maps, it seems that the Law and Stardom is both like trying to get their grunt numbers up, and Stardom's actually army looks a little bit more, and Zlo is responding by making LLTs and trying to secure. So that means that the Stardom has initiative and he goes where he pleases, and already trying to get the resbots up to the place to collect and reclaim and get everything. But Zlo's sitting on those wrecks with his commander, and also will try to pull some.
Yeah, 500 reclaim.
But
He's got
Wilson
one.
severely strapped by energy. Not getting so much metals, as you can see. This low is full on the metal. Isn't sharing it with the vodka, and yeah. The most interesting part will be the change of strategy from the Stardom. He will attempt to do even more damage to the power structure later on. Since he feels that his grunt numbers at the north will create too much chaos, and his initiative is allowing him to go into bombers.
Yeah, we see that factory coming up there, kind of stalling on power at the moment. He has 2 construction turrets that are like 90% finished there for a little bit. That's kind of unfortunate to see.
Just queue up some solars with his commander. Can't afford it.
For sure.
Yeah, I really like these Cortex Advanced Solars right here. If you get like 4 to 5, you can scale like really fastly, much faster than the wind.
Something I've been trying to weave into my play. You know, when wind is good, you have to add on those advanced solars at this stage in the game. Just start building that baseline power. For sure.
I think it's generally like how do you spend your metal as well, and you know, the wind is always not only the wind risk, but also the risk that you will lose your games. Somehow they add to them as well if they chain or you don't spread properly. It certainly takes more effort to build.
I've lost a couple of games recently. Just like if you end up getting attacked and wind dies, you kind of get just like stuck on an island or something. You're like, I have all this build power, and the wind is like,
even with the build power and metal, it's like really hard. You can have all the metal in the world, but like if you're trailing like hugely in energy production after losing most of your wind, it's almost impossible to get back into the game.
For sure. It's a nice little sandwich there. Stardom losing all of his grunts and grave robbers. And it looks like Stardom's ready to reveal these bombers here. They're moving out onto the map. We see some paralyzer drones coming out as well. So those are so strong. They have so much utility at almost every point in the game. It's crazy.
Stardom had some vision of like the initial base locations, and he sees a little bit of a couple of windmills, so we'll be trying to bomb them. The ones he did see on before, since he flew scoutless.
So that's pretty interesting.
Pretty okay.
Yeah. Was that four bombers to take out a solar collector? I actually did not know that number.
Maybe even 3. It looks like it's 4. I mean, this one survived, but I think the first bomber left survives on 7% on one end.
So close, yeah.
Now he's just gonna be annoying and kill all the mech mixes and succeeds with that, even without knowing where they are, just randomly bombing. I think 2 strafes, if you actually change the target, should hit and kill the any destroyers, even if you don't know that there are any. Sometimes I do wish, like, there's been talks of maybe putting the mixes on the center, but this is one of the reasons the bombers would be much stronger. Like, little changes in balance affect things in so many ways, since with the one strafe you will always get, like, guaranteed kills, so think the part of the game would be just bombing mixes.
I, I I also like having like the flexibility in your base layout as well. I don't.
Yeah, base layout there.
It's
You can
pretty
tuck
cool.
some things better together on a red comet, for example. Those
Right.
two in the
Right.
front, you can like squish them together and place an LT perfectly in the middle. If you do on the center, it doesn't even look good, right? So,
Right.
and it's a nice mini game to be fair. That's one of the ways that you have this APM expression, but you also have this like, I want to make like this more to this side. So just
Absolutely.
because it's like still a small, it's I see it as a skills expression. I think it's really cool in a bar.
I have to agree with you there. Any kind of little decision making you give a player, it just increases the
Yeah,
increases
because
the
it's the
skill.
same click technically, but you have this choice, right? It isn't annoying to make the mixes off center, or you don't have to jump through more hoops. So really cool. All right.
It's just paralyzer drones stepping forward, taking out those LLTs, but still, Taku isn't going to commit to an attack and pulls back.
Yeah. It seems like Pita did secure most of this map well. Get to his. Gonna build likely a frontal base with the construction turret made. Zol is also at least holding his side for now, so it looks like Stardom and Pitak has like a slight advantage. From the medal count, it does seem a little bit different, but nobody has still secured the like kill mixes. I'm not sure if they don't know. I think if you go core bots, you have to go core air and get those mixes. There's like 5 really huge mixes on the map.
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
grab with the
Plus
construction.
2.4. They don't even know I have these high ground mexes. I mean, you're over there
Yeah.
just chilling out with that plus 10 income.
Yeah, and then the middle hill is also 3.0, so North Hill.
Oh.
North Hill.
Oh, just missed the commander going down. Looking at plus 3 mexes. Okay.
Greedy. All right, yeah, well.
He's got that. This is a really nice building position. He's got the construction turret and then a beamer turret just as far forward as he can get it, pretty much.
Still
Grown
not out of the blue. He isn't repositioning his commander, but I think his tanks will be enough. Loses beamer, I think to his own D-gun.
He's not going to remake it, and he's got control of this reclaim field. His
I
commander's
think he feels safe with the enemy's feed. Like, so much to eat there, right? There, the commander and the tanks dying on. Even goes to stun without like an actual assault, but tanks chugging along to put even more pressure.
And Zlo is T2 now, so he's got his advanced bot lab out. It looks like he's gifted his opponent, or gifted his teammate, rather, an advanced construction bot. We were talking about the stats earlier. We can see the speed 33. Even going as far as to giving his opponent or teammate combat engineer as well.
Yeah, combat engineer is really like Pyros makes like a lot of sense. I think in 2v2s with a strong decisive attack. I don't know how applicable it is. I think if you go T2, maybe in 1v1, I don't think you usually need to actually go eco if you have the unit advantage, provided you make better units. I mean, that's part of like you could get more ahead, but they do not pay off that well. But it seems like yeah, they're slowly going into T2 economy, given that they established how far they want themselves to be.
You don't need much of the map once you go T2 between, these advanced metal extractors and energy converters and wind turbines, so...
I'll be choosing to do some mine laying, probably looking for like that recovery period. Doesn't have much if all of the mexes, surprisingly. Zo has eaten the whole maps and Vodka is left with just a couple of income.
The scraps, the scraps that doesn't want to take, but kind of have you would have the mirrored position between the blue and green player, but Taku was able to secure this whole bottom right corner of the map, so It's getting all that extra income that him and Vodka, Taku and Vodka could be contesting over.
Yeah. Yeah, after this, I think one of the win conditions would be maybe a fusion, but it doesn't look like any of the teams actually use that much energy. Overall, Pitak has been making the advanced solars, so he's stable on energy and will just be content making non-stop fiends.
So we have Fiends versus Sheltons at the moment. We're gonna have to see that interaction. Saw Stardom gave Taku a good amount of Fiends himself. What is that? About 10 or 12 Fiends here, right below his commander.
Yeah, and still creeping slowly in an interesting way with his fortifications.
This is a nice little interaction, putting your arty around your own mines. I kind of like that. Can always pull back and have a little gotcha moment.
Yeah, I think he's trying to deal with LLTs, make some kind of progress even with the 2 units.
It is a micro sync too, because like you can just put those on fight move, right, to clear out all these LLTs, and your opponent has to spend a lot of APM dealing with that. Seems. The first Juno shot goes off, clears out all those mines.
Yeah, I was aware that there was mines, instead doesn't want to risk it, and before the Fiend attack decides to clean them up, and this should be a decisive attack. There's not if many troops. With the Stardom giving away the Pyros, I think the combined army of the Stouts and the Fiends is more than enough to take on the assault duty.
For sure,
and at least get that Vodka's wind cluster, which is, let's say, even like a half of his wind income. And we'll be able to wreak the havoc on the back as well.
Huge push there, clearing through all of that main base, and they move so quickly. It just, if you can't stop them running to your main base, you're just gonna lose so much.
Well, even yeah, I think, and this should seal the game. And that's it. GG. Yeah, I wouldn't say like imbalanced. I think Pitak did great. So something with the resource sharing was a little bit interesting, and Zlon never really found a way to break through, like at least try to break through Stardom's defense after holding the hill. Likely due to the grunt play early and Stardom just being really good with transitioning.
For sure, transitioned and got the high ground here too. It can feel so bad.
And did like, the bombers as well.
Some decent damage, and like once you have air, of course, you can get the fighter screen up, you can cap these mexes, so there's so much extra utility in this map going air.
Yeah, I think people always forgetting to cap those mexes. I think once you're like grunt and you can afford to go for the air lab, like getting constructor out and getting those mexes is really big. Like 5 big mixes. And you know, drones aren't bad as well, right? Especially on a big map like.
Especially on this map.
Try to set up on the trap, right? You think the enemy can go in, and then you just like jump in with them. I don't know, shurikens and the drones. But really, really energy expensive, and it's like a tough call to make if the battle is on the edge with vehicles.
Yeah, how do you justify?
There's no place for making air constructors, right? So always curious how it is that like players like go for these air hill mixes.
Those paralyzer drones just have so much value, though. In these team games, it seems like players who are able to capitalize on them can like stop run bys. They know when to pull them back. They know when to attack with them. So it's like that little extra coordination you see in these smaller team games, not so much in AV8s. I mean, not that I've seen many AV8s, but you have the opportunity to kind of keep track of your one player. In this case, Stardom was really able to. Did he give Taku the paralyzer drones, or did he just?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Probably. I think, yeah, Pitak went for attack. Yeah, he gave some to the Pitak, at least like 3-4.
Okay. Pretty cool
Pitak
to
was
see.
doing cleanup duty.
It's interesting. Well, that's about the episode. This is week 3. We've been doing these, so hopefully we can get together next week. Maybe feature some more like 4v4s, 5v5s. Really want to kind of put these out there for y'all to enjoy.
Yeah, let's see. You can always probably suggest them on the BARCast Discord channel, or yeah, maybe we'll do those.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have that in the Discord, like LSR was saying. So if you have an idea of a good match that you want casted for kind of any week's episode, you can submit them there, email them to us, or yeah. Well, that's about it. LSR, thanks so much for spending the time talking with me. I really
All
been
right.
enjoying doing these. Yeah.
Yeah, having to fun and not have to do much of the work and still get to talk and see like good games. Really fun. The last one I didn't see. I think the previous 3 I also haven't spotted. Didn't see. So it was yeah, good games. Was interesting.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you all for watching, and see you in the next replay.